stuff together.
Things.
Yeah, you're good at putting things together.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, we're live.
What was that?
I said we're live.
Hello, people. Peace.
Peoples. Hello, peoples. So what you got going on here? You got the hat with the tie rag on under it.
Like that? That's
you
called
just
gangster.
No, you like NWA,
Huh?
but from
That's right.
but from here.
They got a little blue in here. I go both ways.
There's blue in your hair?
No.
I was gonna say.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm not
I was
all
gonna
blonde.
say. Well, since when
Nothing
did you
much,
dye your hair
nothing
like
much.
that?
When I was in high school, I had purple hair.
All right. Are you sitting until tomorrow?
Shit was awesome.
I guess the worst I
That's
ever
cool.
did was bad.
You gotta
I leaned
keep-
over a
keep
stove
me
to light a
posted.
joint and my hair all
Red
burnt.
highlights, and then
All
it started
bad.
falling out in pieces. So she cut all of it off, completely
Yeah,
went
I
black and
understand.
blonde and started over.
That
I
is totally
believe me. I
different.
know what you're talking about.
You know, she's like,
Black and red tips to
She was
platinum
like-
blonde.
So should I give you a call tomorrow?
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
call
"Use
me.
the box. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
No.
This actual hair has never been
Wait,
treated
what?
like
hairstylist
that.
for about 15 years. Her name was Chelsea, but she moved
3 and a
to
half.
Alaska, so couldn't-
Yeah.
you can't go there. I followed her to 5 salons over the years.
Right,
but
right.
Well, you would run into her because there's like one girl for every 20 guys out there. You'd say
No,
Chelsea
no,
and they'd all be
I-
like, oh yeah, Chelsea from
My
Fairbanks.
aunt found a guy, a new guy to do her hair. We were all going to the same lady, and my aunt found, and when I saw
I
her
got you.
hair,
Hey, I'm patient.
highlights are fucking awesome.
Just get back with me.
So that's when I got my hair done. When my mom seen how good my hair looked,
I can do
she got
what?
with him too. So now all 3 of us have switched to this new guy.
Okay.
And he goes to
Okay.
Paul. He goes to this bar called Gigi's.
No, what you telling me? Wait a minute.
Okay.
Like they know,
Maybe
like,
I'm not
he's like,
understanding you.
Justin's
Say
like,
that
oh, I know
again.
her. We're good friends with her. I'm like,
Hello,
I know my
Rudy.
hairstylist. He's there at
250?
least every other weekend.
That's awesome.
Okay.
It's cute,
Got you.
but he does amazing color. Like
So he probably is really good.
No
he
problem.
actually primarily
No problem.
specializes in like blue, purple,
Appreciate it.
rainbow.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
Right.
he does that.
Vibrant colors.
I mean, some of my tattoo artists have done that to their hair, but I feel like at 36, I'm too old.
I'm sorry about that.
It's alright.
You know what I
Alright.
mean?
Uncle Dean says hi.
Hi, Uncle
Hi,
Dean.
Uncle Dean. Maybe I shouldn't call him Uncle Dean. Mr. Dean.
Yeah, you're older than he is.
I can still call him Uncle.
Yep, he's somebody's
He
uncle.
can call me Granddad
Title.
Rudy. Like my Filipino girlfriend. She calls me Daddy Rudy.
Alright, so what's your ideas?
Well, I got a lot of them. But
How about we do this on a regular basis? Because if you want to build anything, you got to do it
exactly.
on a regular basis.
Best of.
It's so goddamn hard.
Do
to
best ofs.
What do you mean best ofs?
Best pizza in the area. Best Coney Island in the area. Best soul food in the area.
Best disc golf course
Best,
in the area.
So do you
best
wanna-
Polish food
Hold on.
in the area.
Do you want to go there and eat at the place?
No.
Or get it
I'm
here?
gonna get carry outs and we're gonna bring it back here
I've talked about this before. We've
and do
talked
it.
about this doing this before.
Yeah, but did we do it? No.
Call it best shit in town.
So I'm gonna
What do you? Okay, give me one of the best pizza. The best shit in town is the one that comes out of my oven.
and we'll have that and
Well, we've
we'll
already
have,
done hippies.
well,
You
yeah,
gotta have
man,
Green
that's
Lantern and
1,000
Blues
pizza
and
places.
Buddies. You
I
gotta
know,
pit
but you're
them
saying the
against
best
each other.
of. What makes it unique?
The best of
Xenos.
as far as we're concerned.
No. I know, but
I'm not talking about unique. I'm just talking about best taste.
that's what I'm saying. But the best taste usually comes from some uniqueness about it. Like, what do they do with their dough? Is their dough better than everyone? The pizza is an example.
So for pizza, we're gonna have to buy 6 different pizzas though, because there are some good joints around.
where?
I just tried that Xenos at like 11 inch on R, and it was a lot better than I thought. They're in that little strip mall across from
I
the.
think I've had Zeno's. It's
Car wash.
okay.
I've never had Xenos.
Their box has no markings on it, but they just catered our bowling banquet, and I liked it.
Okay, so Zeno's. We've already done a show with.
You done GLP?
Pizza's a bad idea because we've already done pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to do pizza again.
I don't want to serve.
We're gonna do pizza next year.
I don't want to
I
give
like
any
your
money
weed
to
stuff.
fucking GL.
But
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of new
I
restaurants.
don't even want to name them.
See, that sucks
Fuck that
because,
group.
but I grew up with a totally different GLP, and it really is different in a bad way now. But
Yeah, because
I still have the love for it because It's one of the oldest establishments in the city I come from. It's 20 years older than our city is. You know.
What about
I grew up with the
Okay.
family of the guys who actually built that bitch.
one of the problems with because when I was young, I wanted to be a cook. Like that was my plan. Because it wasn't really a plan. It was more like, you know how parents brag about their kids. Like my brother is an unbelievable. Like I don't know if he is now still because he hasn't really painted, but he's an unbelievable artist of putting shit on campus. Like because we had a lot. Dark childhood, blah 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 blah. He would paint. He paint like the most memorable thing was just this dark, all charcoal, big ass fucking painting of some kid in the fucking courtroom losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like it was dark shit.
Yeah.
My baby sister can sing. Like when you hear her sing, we were in not Sweden. We were in Tennessee.
That's a big difference, yeah.
Pella and Brian. The first time Pella shows up to the United States, we make a trip to Tennessee because Pella wants to see a little bit of the states.
Right.
And we visited my sister while we were down there, and we went to what's it called? Where they do the fucking singing, karaoke bar.
Oh, okay.
In Tennessee, in Chattanooga, because we're in Chattanooga. So we're at a karaoke bar. First thing I remember is the fact that I hear someone singing like Diana Ross or one of those fucking like crazy like Whitney Houston songs or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, wow, that is spot on. You look over, it's a fucking dude.
Uh-huh.
Because he was the main guy. And he was a cross-dressing, like he was a drag star.
Yeah.
And he would sing as a drag star. And he was
Sing "You're the Wind Beneath My Wings" and shit.
belting these things in such a beautiful female voice.
Yeah.
But then my sister gets up and sings Michael Jackson, and you can see the reaction in both their faces. Their jaws just kind of like drop because she's got a voice.
Yeah, take it out.
I don't.
Yeah.
She does. My other sister Casey was another one that kind of fell in my situation where it's like we weren't really good at anything, but good at.
You hadn't
everything.
found.
Yeah,
you hadn't found what you're good at yet.
There's no way to find. There's like high school in Holly is not the place that pushes your that they don't
Your
spark
initiative.
your interest.
Yeah, your
Or
initiative.
spark your what is the word for it? I don't know what the word for it. Anyways, so my parents were talking about how everyone's good at stuff. Scott's a really good drawer. Casey can play softball. My sister can sing. I could cook because, as you remember,
You can grow weed.
well now
Well, that back then they
Yeah.
didn't know.
as you remember, my food, like we were fed Hamburger Helper.
Right.
We ate Hamburger Helper with a can of fucking vegetables while they ate whatever the fuck frozen
Right.
food
Yeah,
they
that's
ate.
what you're telling me.
Yeah. So I would have to make it every fucking day. And because I was making Hamburger Helper, following a recipe, I was a good cook.
You're the cook
Yeah. So I started going to culinary because of it.
and learning more about it.
Yeah, and I wanted to be a cook. But one of the things that's disheartening about this area, especially like Holly, I mean, growing up in Holly, without a way out,
The Holly Inn.
no car,
One cook in
What
town, you
Holly
got
Inn?
to kill him to get a job.
Holly Inn. No, it's the Holly Hotel.
Oh, Holly Hotel.
It's like
The Holly Hotel.
And even that,
You gotta knife a guy to
working
get a
for
job
that
as a
dude
cook.
sucks. He's a piece of shit. He's another fucking rich kid that basically took his daddy's money and bought a fucking place in the 70s and didn't have to do shit because it was already, like, he kind of established it in the 80s as
Fucking
a,
rich people.
a place where you could,
Them damn rich people.
Them damn rich people.
you know I hate him.
Fucking Richies.
Okay, but another idea I had.
So about the food.
Oh,
How do
yeah,
we,
keep going.
we go back to the food. I didn't get into cooking because there's not really anything here. Yeah, you have your chains and you have your places that have come from other states and set up in Troy and
You don't want to cook at
downtown.
Applebee's?
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not-
There's no fucking real restaurant.
Applebee's.
I mean, there's some
Holiday Inn's
smaller.
got a real nice restaurant in there.
Who?
Holiday Inn.
I mean, there are restaurants where you can get your culinary
Casinos and shit, we got them.
off, but I mean, you know,
There was
there's
no
a few and far
casinos
between.
here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's no scene. So when you say best food,
Well, it's
that's a
developing,
stretch.
but no, it's developing a scene now, though.
Casino
Is it?
There's so many, man.
Casino, you'd be working
Listen,
for good chefs, but
I
you're
read
working
there's
at
over
30 of them.
300 new restaurants in Detroit proper.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
that's how it's booming.
There really is a lot of restaurants
It
out there,
is
though.
booming.
But Have you heard about the huge layoffs at Rocket Mortgage? Rocket Mortgage laid off like 400 people last week.
Yeah, he gave him what you call though.
Buyout.
Yeah, buyout.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but they don't last long. You still have to leave.
Well, it
You
depends
can't
on
live
what
in the city.
But it
there's
depends,
young
on what your
people
buyout
all over the
is,
city,
dude.
companies like that.
They might be getting $70, $80, $100,000 buyout.
And
You
they
can
only
relocate,
last fucking 2 years
but
in the city.
it's enough to relocate.
Well, yes,
someplace
to
else,
relocate.
where maybe there are. Actually, there's a lot of jobs right now.
Yeah, there are.
Really, there
There
jobs,
is, but
there are jobs.
most of
everywhere.
them don't pay.
No, they're good paying jobs all over.
There are, but they're
Oh.
not easy to get because there's 1,000 people still going for those good paying jobs.
Yeah, but
All the help wanted signs, I guarantee you go in there, they're paying fucking less than $17 an hour.
problem.
I've seen Burger Kings though that list $22 an hour.
Again, working
Things
at-
are changing.
You're not paying me $22 an hour to work at Burger King when the CEO makes $3 million in a fucking day.
Yeah, well, hold up. But that's going to happen.
No, it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't
So
happen
what-
in other
But
countries.
what is the CEO supposed to make?
A fair percentage. He can make
In Sweden,
$200,000,
they actually have a cap.
Yeah,
They're only
they have
allowed
a
to make
cap.
so much more than the normal people.
The top 10% only make
The better they
six
do, the
figures.
better they can make, but they got to pay people accordingly.
Well, you know what? I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about bringing.
You have to
Just-
worry about that because
No,
they're
so many
stealing
more
all the
people.
money.
No, listen. I'm worried about bringing them up first.
Who?
The poor people.
You can't bring the poor people up if the rich people take all the resources.
Yeah, but they're doing it slowly but surely.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Where?
Man, so let me put it to you like this:
Okay.
in the black community, black people are getting all kind of opportunities right now that they never had before.
So my mom just got some
That's
shit too.
and
There's
poor
nothing wrong with that.
and poor people, as long as you went to school.
What are you talking about the same opportunity? If you were fucking poor in the 70s, you could walk into a fucking factory, get a fucking job, and stay there for 20 years and have a fucking house up north and a house down here, all paid for with 2 cars, and your wife doesn't work.
Yeah.
So tell me about the opportunity where you gotta go work at this job for fucking 12 hours, and then you gotta get your wife to go get a job because you can't pay your fucking bill.
Well,
Box.
that's the point I'm making, though.
What?
The incomes are going up.
They're not.
So my mom takes
They
care of
are
my
in cer-
grandma.
They
and
are in.
She was just given
I'm
2
going up
different
there.
bonuses from the government. She gets a check from the government every week or every month
Every
or whatever.
month, yeah.
And she just got a $200 boost to that, and she just got a $200 boost to her
I wonder
bridge
if my
card.
check's gonna get a
So
My
and-
bridge cards, they decide, I'm on disability.
They just sent me.
they said it was
They
an
have-
adjustment for inflation.
And they literally have had me off
That's
of
pretty sweet.
any money on food stamps
No, that's
for
not a
over
lot
a
of
year.
money.
Why?
But
Because she doesn't
I
pay
don't pay
rent.
rent. I can't prove that I pay rent anywhere. So they figure I use that money
All
for
right, move,
food.
mister.
and if you try to say you do, then whoever
Oh,
you say
really?
you do to has
And
to
they
say
wanna,
that they
yeah,
get
then
rent.
they
I got
wanna,
it.
So if you said you paid double O rent, he'd have to say that he collects rent
Yes.
from you.
exactly, and then he's gotta claim that
Right.
for taxes, so.
Because you would need his information, he would need your information.
I'm not saying that there's not opportunities, but to say there's the same opportunities there was in the 70s is bullshit. There are opportunities, and most of the opportunities
There's
require
way
you to-
more opportunities now than there was in the 70s. Way more.
60s?
Way more.
No, I don't think so.
I lived through it. I know.
Yeah, but now a lot of things are
For
real
you,
hard.
because you were a black man living in a fucking white world where you couldn't get hired at half a fucking job.
So Rudy,
We're not talking about that world now. Where yes, there are still a small percentage of jobs where you can't get hired if you're
Or
black.
just-
But for the reality,
Well, it's changing.
It's changing, but the reality
Slowly.
is you
so
would
this
have more
country was built by
opportunity
people
because
with
of that.
manufacturing jobs. This country was built by Rosie the Riveter when her husband was in World War II and the men that came back alive.
Right.
This country was built by jobs building
Actually, it was built
durable
by-
goods.
Building houses
Like,
for the GIs to live in.
Every washing machine that was on Earth, every refrigerator that was on Earth came from America at one point in time. That shit doesn't happen anymore.
Nope.
Now every washing machine, refrigerator you get comes from Korea. You know, fucking America has become where the jobs were in manufacturing. That
right.
amount of jobs have become service industry jobs.
It's,
Have
well,
become
it's changed from
fast food-
manufacturing to other things.
to fast food and to retail, which sucks. Which are low-level jobs that back in the day when manufacturing made America, fast food and retail were done by the children and the moms that only want 20 hours a week so they can pick
Look,
children up from school.
man,
and that shit was done. because there were good jobs available and they didn't go to Mexico and they didn't go to India. Now that we don't have those good jobs, but we do have people with a whole lot of money, the people with a whole lot of money want to spend the money on service-related shit. So we provide people with service jobs.
That's why service thing is
the saddest thing
right
to
now.
me was all the single moms that got like 4 or 5 kids and are working at Burger King and like none of the fucking baby daddies help them out at all.
Nope.
And these bitches are 45 years old and the best thing they can do is Burger King.
And they're taking care of
They work
kids.
Burger King every day because Burger King will give them 55 hours. Burger King will let them work their fucking ass off for $12 an hour and 16 on overtime.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
You're right.
this shit was ridiculous.
A lot of times they should be spending with their kids.
Yep.
They have to work.
All I know is that they started Subway with $1,000. Name me a place in the
And
fucking
Jared,
country
and a pedophile
where you
that
can
everyone
take
loved.
$1,000 and start anything. Anything.
You can start anything with
Where?
$1,000.
It
What do you
depends on
wanna
what
start?
it is.
You can't because you
good
got
enough.
it itself is going to be $1,500.
I just
She can
watched the
start
thing
her-
about a guy
her
that
magnet
invented
making
some
company.
shit. He was with some company, and the company was ripping people off, so he said, fuck it, and went out on his own and took $500.
If you get a good deal
Now
on
he's a
$1,000 worth of
multi-millionaire.
heroin.
you
When
can
did
become
this
a
happen?
millionaire.
Recently he's young. So,
Well,
it
my
had to
fellow
be
guy,
recently.
didn't
Yeah.
have shit.
I could have took $500 and put it on certain crypto and be rich as fuck too, but
Yeah.
that's lottery shit.
Well, yeah, exactly. Some things,
What we're talking about is
some things are luck.
you used to be able to buy a building and do shit for $10,000.
You put $1,000 into a gun.
McDonald's franchise was 10 grand. It was all your savings, but it was 10 grand.
Yeah.
Now it's 2 million.
Yeah,
So again, it goes.
Yeah, you have to
the
be able-
opportunities aren't there.
that's going to happen. And 50 years from now,
I believe
a
McDonald's-
McDonald's franchise is going to cost you $500 million.
McDonald's
McDonald's
wouldn't
franchise
happen.
is only
Hold
like
on.
100,000 deposit. You just have to be a $2 million.
Things go up. They don't go down.
Hold on. That's what you're not understanding, though. Is the only reason it's going up as far as it has is because they're the ones that control everything. So they make the rules so that if you want to play, the weed game's a perfect example. The dudes that bought the fucking influence got the laws written specifically
Yeah.
so that only they could play in the market.
And it's just like the guys I watch that go overseas to get seeds. And the guy said, well, how much money you guys going to make off of this? He said, we'll make $1 billion. And the guy said, well, how much are you going to bring back to this village? He said, nothing.
But that's my point. You live in a country where most of the money goes to the corporations. So even if you start a business,
At least he's honest.
there's not very much money there because,
Well, that's greed.
well,
That's greed.
yeah, that's fucking big of cannabis. He's a greedy fuck.
I think they're European guys.
He is. He's,
Yeah,
he's
European.
greenhouse
French.
seeds. You don't know it's not French, it's Dutch. I think
It's one of
Dutch.
them European countries. I don't know.
But he's not. Well, it's Amsterdam.
And the guy said, well, how much you going to bring back?
The
to
new
this?"
hotness is
He said nothing.
the new hotness is all those cities that are making rules where they're not allowing more cannabis in, and it's the cannabis companies that are already in those cities that are behind making that happen.
Well, of course it is. They were there in the first place, making
Yep.
it happen.
Where there's big grow ops and they're trying to say don't allow any more grow ops in because it would oversaturate.
Yeah, I know. And they're trying to shut down the caregivers because they don't want.
I
the
am
market.
still coming across fucking dispensaries that I've never seen before that I'm like, whoa, damn, right here, there's a dispensary,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They're all over the place.
a lot of them, the licenses are going out like this. So a lot of them just got their licenses, where they could legitimately open up and all that. They might have the building
And you're
already.
seeing like billboards.
They already have to have the building, you know
Lots
what
of
I'm saying?
advertising.
I mean, it's just money.
Like that Jars place.
Yeah, you had to have money.
That Jars place delivers, right? You're not gonna believe how many cars they got delivering. They got a dozen cars delivering. In their parking
You
lot.
tip
They
your
got
delivery
a gated parking lot with the delivery cars. It's a dozen of them.
Wow.
And when you drive by during the day, you might only see one or two sitting in the parking lot. They ain't making money like it's going out of style.
I wonder what it makes to be a weed delivery guy, because it's not bad to be a pizza delivery guy.
Foot long for your mom. I forgot about that one. That's a
$5
good one.
foot long.
Who was that?
His name is Foot Long for your mom. He says they're adding 73 more to Ohio this year. I mean,
73 more dispensaries?
yeah. To me, anybody
Well,
should be able to open one. It
well-
should be like, there should be, cities can obviously make their limits because however they want, but it's a product and the same thing as eggs. There's no limit on how many grocery stores can open.
I like how that donut shop got shut down because they figured it was
Who?
that there was that donut hole or whatever. Sweet
You
spot.
talking about the one over by fucking?
There's a couple of them, but they got shut down because they were laundering money for the
Yeah.
dispensary.
That donut hole one is 8 Mile right here at
There's a
John
dispensary
R.
making all kinds of cash.
The guy just went to jail, I think. I think he just went
They
to
started
jail.
watching him because he reported like all kinds of sales from his donut company, and he just throw donuts out at the
And
end
all of a
the
sudden,
day.
they just
There was
popped up
nobody going to this
overnight.
fucking donut place.
They popped up overnight,
They had a
about
bunch
4 or
of them.
5
8
of
Mile.
them.
They had a couple of them on 8 Mile.
On 7 Mile. They just popped up.
So it was a dude who already owned a dispensary but was fucking laundering illegal money through the donut company, trying to keep the dispensary clean because those are already being watched.
Yeah.
Clever motherfucker, but
Again, a foreigner.
It's
goddamn
not really
donut shop.
clever. It's something that's been done 1,000.
That's how Produce
Oh,
Palace
no,
was
they're
started,
clever.
though.
They're clever.
Produce Palace was
He
started
don't-
by
he's not gonna go to
mafia
jail.
laundering.
He hired an accountant.
It's all
That's not
legit now,
clever.
but Produce
No, what I'm
Palace
saying
used to throw away apples and shit.
These
like that
guys
because
are
they used to say they were all
professionals
bought
at what they're
laundered like
doing.
that.
And they know they're going to get busted. They know it.
I know.
So they try to make as much money
As
as
they
they
can,
can
yeah.
in a short period of time. He might have made $100 million.
Happy's
There's
Pizza.
not that much money in this area.
The owner of Happy's Pizza was embezzling money in his
Jesus
office,
Christ.
and so was everybody who fucking worked.
They're
there.
laundering
Hold on.
money, man.
When they got
Hold
arrested,
on.
he was the only
They're
one. at the
laundering
time.
money. What do you mean?
Hold on.
That's drug money.
Hold
Or
on a second.
Yeah,
You
It's
have to
illegal weed
consider
money
how
is
much
what it
fucking
is.
money is in this
It's
area.
weed street money.
You're talking about Hazel Park. You're talking about Detroit.
Yeah.
And you're not talking about good areas of Detroit or Hazel Park. They're not like you're not talking the fucking Professor areas. You're not talking Rochester Hills. I know people come down from there, but the reality is they say they're gonna make like 1.5 million or 15 million a year at one of the dispensaries in Hazel Park. That's 53 grand a fucking day.
Uh-huh.
You know how much
Yeah.
fucking weed that is?
It's way more
Yeah.
than Burger King.
There's not even that many fucking people buying weed in the area, let alone for one dispensary that's got 7 sitting on the same fucking block. Not including all the people who are buying it from fucking people who grow it or given to it. So again, how are you gonna make? It's the same as Uber. They say they're gonna make
It's
it.
the biggest money making venture in Michigan right
They're
now.
I
breaking shit
understand.
off like crazy.
I get
too,
that.
though.
Marijuana.
But that's not my point.
And they can write off shrink. They can write off
a
loss.
lot of it is all fucking because again,
Every day they can say 500 pounds loss.
no, they're not losing
No.
shit because the metric system
No.
won't let them lose.
No, that's not even the point. The point is the money they're making off of the buildings, off of the taxes, is astronomical. It's like the lottery.
Ooh,
The
Ooh.
fucking dispensaries.
Dispensaries, the state of Michigan?
The state of Michigan, yeah.
Yeah. They're making
That's my
cookouts
point.
of money.
most of them are going to shut down because most of them are going to realize.
I do think we
that
got
you
right
can't-
how you deliver, though.
You can't fucking say you're gonna do all that. You can't deliver ounce or quarters to fucking one place.
Well,
for
Denver had it
$25
designed
and
where
have
you
12
can't
fucking
drive
people.
any of your own
But
shit.
you don't know that.
Again,
You don't know where they're getting their blood from.
how much money are you gonna pull out of that fucking thing a day?
You don't know how much, where they're getting their blood from or what they're paying for it. You have no clue.
It
They
doesn't
get
matter. They have 12 fucking people on staff who are making at least $30,000 a fucking year.
Okay.
That's fucking 120,000. Like that's a ton of fucking money just in staff, and
Right.
you gotta cover that every fucking day. That's my point. Yeah, it's gonna be. It looks good up
Okay.
front, but they did that so they
We
get
do have
the
a lot of
loans.
motherfucking people in this state. who
But I'm
say
tell you
so.
something.
I'm not
This
saying
state
they
is
don't.
It's not just people from this state.
Republicans in this state are cool with
It's
it
not
now.
just people from this state going to these dispensaries.
I don't doubt that, but it's still the numbers don't make sense. You've driven by them. $53,000 worth of weed is a ton of weed at $40 an eighth.
Right.
I'm telling you, some of
A
these.
ton of weed. That means there'd be a line out the fucking door every fucking day, and it's not like that right now because there's 7
What are they
dispensaries
selling
on one
online and
road.
shit, though? What are
So
they
if you see a
selling?
line or see one car pulling, you're like, well, I won't
Go
go
to
there. I'll
place
go to the
online,
next
yeah.
one
Well, I mean,
because they all
when-
sell the same shit.
when I drive by these dispensaries,
I always see them packed.
it's always at least
I see
6 or
people
8
at 'em.
cars in the parking
I
lot.
never see anyone at Skyman.
All the
That
time.
drive-through one on John R. just
All
north
the
of
time.
8 Mile. I always see people
All the time.
just packed in that.
The ones around my house,
It's just north of 8 Mile. It's on John R.
I
It
never
has a
see
drive-through.
anybody there.
the ones around my house.
Skyman, the one. It's
The other day I
called
passed
Skyman.
House of Dank and there's nobody there. But
Most of the time when I drive by the house of Dank, it's people there.
yeah,
In fact, they got.
'cause that's when I hear people
I think
talk
there's
about.
5 House of Danks now.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is.
Yeah.
So it's a popular.
And they're building brand new buildings, so somebody's making money.
Well, they got that one that's the old strip club.
But House of Dank was there when there was no one else. So yes, I could see them packing out that much because there was no one else to
Now,
sell.
on 8 Mile, I know where 1, 2, 3, 4 dispensaries closed down. On 8 Mile between Telegraph and
Yeah, but then they built that like $10 million complex in Lake Orion. They built that complex in the old bowling alley in Madison
Are you
Heights.
talking about the Live complex in it? Like,
No, they got one in Lake Orion.
yeah, no, it's right by Bruce. Bruce is always talking about
Oh,
it.
okay.
Mhm.
It's like right out on fucking 24. You can't miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's. I don't doubt that they're gonna sell some weed, but again, that goes back to the point. All it's doing is sucking the money out of each area. Every time that store sells $53,000, $5,000 goes to the employees, and the rest of it goes to some dude who doesn't live here. Doesn't even live in the same fucking state.
Live here.
Does it not?
And a certain amount goes to the state
No, I'm saying.
and the city.
He doesn't even live in the
That
city.
dispensary I was working at, the dude was a rich kid from Philly. And he brought a couple of people from Philly. And it pissed me off that like every day I saw them, they're wearing like Flyers jerseys or like Phillies hats. And it's one thing to like rep your city when you're from Detroit and you're here. It's another thing to fucking be all Phillied out. I don't know. I
This is
just
dead head?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it. It smells like
I
it.
guess if I was in Philly, I'd be all Detroited out. I mean, so I can't hate them for
Ooh, I
that.
got some good weed in Philly.
More people in Ohio shop in Michigan than Ohio because of the prices. Yeah, it's fine, but you're not coming up here.
Yeah, people buy their
If you're in
insurance
Ohio,
from
there's
here.
plenty of them on the way up.
Dude,
You can stop downriver, or you can stop in Monroe.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or,
yes, you can.
you might want to go to more than one dispensary.
Just like they build fireworks.
$4.50 a gallon, you're not driving.
They build
more than
fireworks
one.
spots
man.
right over the border.
I'm
We
telling
build
you.
fucking dank shops right over the border. We got dispensaries down in Monroe, you know.
And you know something
I
else?
know. They're right down at the border.
In this last week, not to change the subject, but to change the subject. This last week, I cannot believe how many Tesla cars I've seen.
We saw a Hummer.
They're selling like a
On the highway.
motherfucker, man.
Again, they've been selling like a motherfucker everywhere else.
I had never seen that many before.
boss
Last week I saw a ton of
You're
them.
just not in the right area. You live in Detroit. Yes,
Well,
there's a few of them in
you
the
see,
neighborhood that you work in. You know what I'm saying?
BMW is going to be all electric by 2025. Ford's going to have electric options coming up
GM's
for
gonna
everything.
be all electric. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be all electric. I think by 2035.
Man, I bought a 2016 Chevy that I plan on having for 20 years. It's going to be obsolete by then.
Good. We need to fucking get off this shit.
Yeah, but I need to pay.
There's always gonna be parts for those cars.
My truck's worth more than I want.
Yeah, it's always gonna be. You get parts for a Model T.
True.
You know,
Can you? No, you have to.
I'm sure
pretty
someone
sure
fabs them.
There are some
You have
cars-
to have them custom fab.
I can get a frame. I can get all of the metal works.
Junkyards.
Yep.
No, I'm talking about. There are companies that reproduce these things.
Oh, yeah,
They got the
yeah.
Some guy
blueprint
named Elroy
from
in
the
Texas
original
put that shit in
shit.
his garage.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's the whole company.
yeah, right.
That's not.
There's a company that's making DeLoreans now.
I broke the fucking.
Hell yeah.
I broke the fucking.
Are they turning
pinion on it.
Fieros
I
into
gotta
DeLoreans?
replace it.
You broke what?
You can't go to an AutoZone and get shit for a 1912 fucking Model T.
Man,
Do you use a Lambo to
you
make
can't.
a DeLorean, or do you use
But you go on your computer.
DeLorean's coming back.
But you can get on this right
do you
here and
use a
get.
Lambo, or do you use a Fiero to
What?
make it?
What's
Make
coming
the
back?
DeLorean right
The
now?
DeLorean.
They're making them now.
Electric, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're making an
I was gonna say if it's a kit.
They got an electric Hummer.
Is it a kit for a nice car like a Lambo or a Ferrari, or is it a kit for a Fiero?
See, that was something that my grandma's brother, like, they were fucking loaded. They owned a fucking machine shop somewhere over in Royal Oak area.
Let's get a machine shop and
To
get
the point
loaded.
where they were making fucking kit cars.
Yeah.
They were
Oh,
making Fieros and turn them into Ferrari.
right, right. I remember that.
Where Ferrari literally sent
People
them
make
a
those in
cease
all
and
different-
Yeah,
desist
I remember that.
because it
Oh,
was
that's
so
awesome.
fucking close.
Because it looked just like
But it
one.
was convertible.
So they
That's
get
how
the
you
door
do it.
kits. Yeah.
But I do remember that kit.
Convertible.
I remember that kit though from back
The
in the
little
day.
front end
Back
kit,
in-
the hood
Maybe that was
kit,
back in the
tail kit.
70s, late 70s.
It was like a
early
7-piece
80s.
kit though.
Yeah.
The kit to make a Fiero look like Ferrari was the easiest one of all of them.
Yeah.
But they had a bunch of kits for Fieros. that you
But the
could make
Fiero was a
up.
nice looking car anyway. I mean, it didn't have
Dude,
no
there
power.
were people who made them look like Batmobiles.
It just didn't have no power, but it was a
My
nice
dad
looking
wanted
car.
one,
and they blew the fuck up when you got hit from behind.
so he was going to buy That was his choice. He's like, when my mom passed away, he had the money. So he wanted to buy a fucking car. He was going to buy a car. So he bought a Corvette, but he was supposed to buy a Fiero. But he couldn't
Fiero's
find a car
caught on
cheap
fire. I'm
enough,
thinking of
so he bought a
Pinto.
fucking Corvette.
A used Corvette.
That was a 69 with supposedly a 427 in it.
Yeah, that sounds.
One of them had the
Pipes,
gas tank in the
orange.
back. with
That
the Fiero or
car
the Pinto.
today,
Is worth a fuck ton. If
$500,000, dude.
Wow.
if it was a 427, it was a 405. It was a.
But it's still worth some money. But it's not worth the money of the 427.
No. Yeah, you're
But
right.
it's still worth.
And it was rusted out to the point where the guy that bought it had to have it towed flatbed.
That's still a big block. It's just a small big block.
It's just a different big block. It's made
It's
by
different.
Ford or
Because like the
some shit
350s.
It's,
are the
it's
small
not.
block,
It's
right?
not. It's not the original engine.
Yeah, it
that
was
comes
like
with the
four,
car.
or it might have been a 455 Windsor or something like that. It's like a boat motor.
But people will buy like a Chevelle with a 350 in it because it's cheaper, and then they.
But it did have a
drop
455. But was that
455.
That was
Motors?
Ford.
I don't know if that was General Motors.
No, I'm saying it wasn't a General Motors because the 427 was the General Motors. It was what was in Corvettes. It was what was worth the money. Because even if your car
that
was
was-
shit, you just had that engine. The engine's worth.
Yeah,
Oh, money.
that Corvette is very expensive.
I know someone blew a Corvette motor and they put a Supra motor in there because it fit, and it sounded ridiculous. You'd see his Corvette take off, and it's like because it had a little turbo.
My dad had a turbo.
You're like, what are
on
you
his,
pushing 305, fucking killing it?
But that bitch didn't make a fucking wee noise. It'd be like. But that was all the fucking muffler.
Okay, so the other idea.
Okay, so your first
For shows.
idea is food.
Well, no, the best stuff. It doesn't have to be food. It could be anything.
Okay.
It could be coffee. It could be anything.
I just
it could
like-
be beer.
We know what the best.
I just
coffee
like
is.
time with Rudy. I think that's a cool show. Whatever you guys do, where you guys just talk, just have conversations like this. Current events.
It was the Pintos.
What Pintos had the
My
gas
uncle
tank in the
said
back.
that It was a Pinto. Yeah, I remember that.
So when
Yeah,
they get
Pinto
ready
was
to
the one that
they blow
exploded.
up.
The expensive Pinto was the
But
one
Fiero's
we
caught
had
on fire,
to get in
though,
the back.
Didn't
My
Fiero's
friend
catch on
had
fire
one.
or something?
when I was
My
a kid,
friend too.
There's a
16,
real
17,
people
the fucking door fell off as they were driving down the
Oh
road.
wow.
Yeah, my friend had a yellow one. It was a piece of shit.
Pintos.
Oh, they were
It was a piece of
They're supposed to be
shit.
the affordable car
I mean,
for the
you,
people.
you could put your foot to the floor with the pedal, and it would take about a minute and a half to even build up any speed. Man.
like
It
a
was
gold,
slow as
shitty golf
fuck.
cart.
It was slow as fuck. Okay, so and I want to have treasure hunts.
Okay.
What the fuck? You want to leave treasure?
Yeah,
Have people look
He's talking about weed.
yeah.
His treasure.
It would be cannabis prizes.
Would you get in trouble for
It
that?
might be
No.
no,
No, if
the
you just
cops
leave
find
them.
one.
no.
What do they care? It's not legal.
So-
there.
Any
So it'd be
trouble?
like those caches, those
A little cash, yeah.
Mhm.
whatever those internet caches are that you can
Yeah.
look up.
That cops will probably confiscate it because they don't want kids to get it.
Bro,
But we're
for every
underground.
friend of yours looking at your shit on the internet, there's at least one or two cops that already looked at it. Like, that's all they fucking
You
do.
can give weed away, dude.
Yeah.
You can give weed away.
Alright.
Believe me.
Just don't put me
You,
in credit
in
for
fact,
any of these shows.
you give weed away and ask for a donation.
We got a howdy gang from Malacra.
What up, Malacraw?
There you go.
Howdy.
So
Howdy.
yeah. Okay, so that's a
Howdy
good
ho,
idea.
neighbor.
Because I could do that shit on disc golf. We could do it on disc golf courses all over Detroit.
There you go. Yep.
Well,
It's an idea.
okay, it's an idea. But
Look
what's
at
the-
that shit, Rosie. There's a lot of kids that hang out there. They
Where?
LARP and shit. Rosie's.
Oh yeah,
They're LARPing.
yeah, LARPing.
Yeah.
You know what LARPing is?
Yeah. Michael does that.
Does he really?
Yeah. He's never discussed. Well, maybe those conventions.
No, that's
Yeah.
different. That's
not LARPing?
No, LARPing is when
Live
you're,
action role playing when you're
It's
out there
when
actually
you're
doing it.
literally. So if I say fireball, I take a beanbag and I throw it at you.
Okay.
And I
If
say
it hits
fireball.
You gotta like respond
I
with
get
water
fucked
or
up
some
or
shit,
something.
or you
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
stop, drop, and roll
Yeah,
for your
if
action.
I hit you with the foam arrow in your
Okay,
arm, you
gotcha.
lose your arm.
Gotcha.
You don't die right away.
So I either want to be an arrow dude, because the arrow dude was literally just sitting in the back. He's like, my action, I roll a die, I shoot 3 arrows. People are standing still, and he's just like, launch, launch, launch. He's like, I pelted you with an arrow with a big fat tennis ball on the end. Ha ha. He was talking about our disc. He's like, you guys get a lot of range. You're pretty accurate. And we're like, yeah, you too. And he's like, I get about 20 feet accurate, but I can launch you like 30 if I go like this.
So next.
Um,
Oh,
Or there was a kid with a
Hold on.
12-foot pole. I want to be that kid. Because because his move every turn was smack that motherfucker who's not anywhere near me yet.
You got a 20-foot pole.
Yeah, I want 20
Anyways,
foot
go
pole.
ahead.
What was the other one? What was the other one? Oh, raffles.
Porno.
We could do raffles.
Raffles for porno.
Oh, I don't know about
What?
that. I
The
don't
winners,
know.
get,
I don't
the
know.
winners get to be in it.
Where's
Winners get to
porno?
perform.
Where's porno?
We have to have a guy raffle and a girl raffle.
We could do raffles too, man.
We're gonna have like one girl gets in the girl raffle. The guys pay to be in the raffle. The girls get
If
paid
we do
$50
interesting
to get.
shit, it will be.
Yeah, if we do
It
interesting
will
shit.
be.
But, you know.
Sex sells.
I mean, you gotta be
Just
interesting.
saying.
You have to have content.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of stuff.
Cunnilingus is content.
Listen to this guy.
I listen to so many podcasts, and they just like, I don't.
But most
Retain
of them, because unless it's a subject you're really interested in,
Well, I listen to a lot of informative podcasts.
I do too.
Listen to,
I do too.
like, one of my favorite people right now is Huberman, the Huberman Lab. And it's, I heard him on Rogan. He's just he's a teacher or professor from Berkeley or something like that deals with neurology.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the shit he does, he brings on people that tell you, like, just, and he goes, the science he talks is way above my fucking head. But
But you can comprehend it to a
I
certain
can
degree.
comprehend it.
Yeah,
because
right.
it's like,
The way he explains it.
yeah, so it's, but it gives me ideas on how to be better, not be in pain, like not deal with what you had
One
to
of the
do
cool things about knowledge, man,
With the hip.
the more you
You
know
know
in
what I'm
any
saying? Be
direction, the better
70.
you are in every direction.
Right.
and have a hip that I have to have replaced, or both hips replaced.
Two.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How do I do that?
That's
Well, the way you do it
the
is,
shit, though.
I start at 40 and I start stretching every fucking day
Yeah.
and do certain things,
To
and
number up.
I take the sugar out of my diet.
You have the same
Yep.
body though, so over enough time and the same, you're gonna do the same kind of abuse anyway to things like your hips and your back.
But there are certain
If you
things.
take care of yourself, you'll last longer. But every human, it'll happen to me before you because of how I don't take care of myself. But
Yeah,
every
yeah.
human will throw their back out. Every human will destroy their
No,
hips.
that's not.
But with,
That it's a bipedal thing.
listen. With age,
We put so much
Yes.
stress there.
with age, things start to break down.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, I don't care
How they
how.
break down. Is
A guy just died. He was a bodybuilder, world renowned.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger say he's one of the black dudes.
Did you see
Arnold- he was on the exercise bike. Just this last week, he was on the exercise bike and had a heart attack.
Yeah. No,
He
I
works
get it.
out all the time.
That's how life works. It doesn't last forever. It doesn't
Bodybuilders
matter
put
how
a lot of
good you
strain
are.
on their body, though,
But
if they've ever
he
had
was able to
steroids.
be on an
It's a lot of
exercise
strain.
bike and
Sure.
probably wasn't in pain most of the time of his
Oh, he's
life.
probably in a ton of
That's the
pain.
difference.
Maybe.
No, there's probably no maybe about it. If you're on an exercise bike going to town, you're probably able to walk and your knees
But
work.
bodybuilders,
Oh, yeah, all that shit.
bodybuilders
But
stress the hell out their
and
body.
your brain works.
They gain weight, then they turn into muscle, then they turn into fat, then they turn into muscle.
Yeah, they end up having a lot of problems
They do.
eventually.
And if they've ever been on steroids in those generations, which a lot of those guys, in order to get muscles on muscles on muscles, are on
that
steroids.
steroid thing.
What that does though,
I saw that firsthand. Steroid.
you got to keep it going though. You got to keep using the steroids and keep working out because once you stop, then your shit's all like overdone, overexerted.
This dude came into the bar when I was a bouncer.
Their
This
muscles-
dude, this white dude, he was Italian too, came in the bar and he was like, boom,
Couldn't put his arms
bang,
up,
boom,
6
neck was
muscles
the, you know, so he kept coming in the bar over and over again. Then I found out they were sitting at a booth and I saw him doing something. I'm like, what is he doing? What is this guy doing? And he was giving himself a steroid shot.
Yeah.
And he was selling steroids to the guys at the bar.
Steroids are different now.
Listen, about a month and a half went by, and this guy had almost a fatal heart attack.
Oh, for sure.
And we didn't see him for 3 months. And when we saw him, he was about this big. It was unbelievable.
It's a different world because Rogan uses steroids on the regular.
Well, yes, well,
It's something now. Again, the
doctors,
steroids he was using were
doctors
different.
prescribe steroids all the time.
But look at LeBron James. He's 37 years old and he's in some of the best shape of anybody.
And he doesn't pay for Spotify because they offer it for free. He's cool with commercials.
Who?
LeBron James.
I wouldn't use Spotify at all.
Well, maybe it was Pandora, but I heard him in an interview. The commercial popped on
You
his
shouldn't
radio.
use Spotify. They don't pay
they-
their people.
They go, LeBron James, you're a millionaire. Why do you have commercials on your playlist? And he's like, well, they offer it for free with commercials. Why would I pay for it? I'd have
Yeah.
to be stupid.
But again, Spotify was funded by the record companies so they could
Stealing.
get the fucking higher percentage of the content.
It's all politics. Fuck all that. There's so many industries that don't need to exist that do exist. Like music can
Well,
be
Facebook is
a
on
whole
the
lot less
commercials
than
now.
it is.
I don't know.
Facebook is nothing but commercials now, and that's why they can pay. They're paying billions of dollars out to people with content.
So I buy
on
things
their
offline
media.
all the time. I buy shit from Amazon a lot, but I'll go directly to sites for like Pumas or Oakleys or something like that, or hats. But I've had a lot of success everywhere but Facebook. Facebook, I've had some fucking shit companies. Like I bought one of those Too Good to Be True, like $100 for 10 DeWalt tools things. Doesn't come with batteries, but it has like grinder, sawzall, flashlight.
But you got
all this
that?
shit. No, I didn't. When I got it in the mail, it was like I got a letter in the mail that was a rebate for $100 off on all that shit, and it was like $1,000 package. But I paid $100, and it was a Facebook fucking ad. It was like
Holy shit!
this
That's
company's
such
straight
a
scamming the shit out of people. Like now, I don't even save.
I never click on no shit.
Hold on, I did it one time.
I never click on shit.
They had that Too Good to Be True. It was supposed to be these nice die-cast remote control fucking diggers and everything.
Yeah.
I got them. They were 3 different kinds, and one of them, they were all like this big, and one of them didn't even like move. It just like you press the buttons and it would go, like it wouldn't even, it just made noises. It was like, and I paid like $69 or $79 for that shit.
Yeah,
And it was,
that probably cost about
oh, it was
$5 to make.
I could have got all 5 of them at the 5 for Less store. That
Yeah.
5, whatever the
Yeah.
store is. So it was like, what are you gonna do? So I stopped buying shit off Facebook. I don't
Yeah.
buy anything off Facebook. Again, I am trying to work myself off of it completely because it's one of those things. It doesn't do anything for me.
It's purely entertainment to me.
And I like looking at the nephews and shit like that, but I can.
No, I don't do that. I just look at it for the entertainment.
Well, I look at it for
All the people that are on there, they're individuals. You know,
I
that
look
want to
at
make some
everybody's
money. That's
kids, though,
entertaining you. That's all I look at on there.
You see handsome little Harrison Barr. You know,
What else is on Facebook?
all the other little kids?
I
we
mean,
know.
half that stuff on there is just bullshit anyway, man.
Well, I don't know. I don't pay attention.
You know, the fights and all, you know, people, showing people fighting each other.
I don't know, man. I see
hate
people I
shit
went to
like
high
that.
school with and like their 20-year-old child, you know, or their 15-year-old child that looks just like them and shit.
Yeah, was it?
It's made to be addictive, so.
I like Facebook. I'm on all
It's like Lou's ex-wife or whatever her name is, Jan or whatever. I mean, she's all over Facebook, man, every day.
Have you heard
10 or
that?
12 photos every day.
Have you heard that Facebook keeps failing in Japan? They keep trying and they keep failing because people in Japan, if they
Yeah,
take
the
pictures of themselves and put them online, that's like vanity stuff.
Yeah, they have a total different
So they take
attitude.
pictures of their apartment, how clean it is. They'll take
Yeah.
pictures of their bike, how they get to work.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah,
take
yeah.
pictures of like their meal that they're gonna
They're shy
make
people.
for work.
They're
Yeah.
shy.
They
Asians
never
are
show pictures of
shy
their face.
I mean, I
Or
don't
no, not Facebook. I'm sorry, Tinder. Tinder keeps trying in Japan and it
to
doesn't
make
work.
it. Yeah.
Because no one puts pictures of their face. So who's gonna go? Oh, I'm gonna fuck you because that couch is spotless. You got white carpet that looks. I can see the vacuum lines. You're gonna get it. Nope.
I imagine Japan is a very materialistic society.
If you see a hot bitch,
Extremely
it's a 40-year-old fat
materialistic.
dude trying to con you.
Yep.
And rigid.
You open the door and you're like, "You're not this hot ass bitch I was looking at," and he's like, "No, but I'll blow you." That's what's happened. That's why their Tinder doesn't work.
Did you ever see the picture of Andre the Giant and some other dude holding up Schwarzenegger?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like a Conan when Schwarzenegger's in Conan or
Yeah. Yeah.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
And he's like, they've got him lifted off the ground like he's a child.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking unbelievable how big that dude was.
Yeah. It's a big.
But
people out here.
Schwarzenegger wasn't.
That'd be
crazy
one of those,
tall. Andre
you
the Giant
know,
was a
tap
giant.
in and when they get the virtual reality the way it's supposed to be. not
Could you
just
imagine if
fucking-
Andre the Giant worked out if he wasn't just a lazy drunk? They say he'd drink like 40 beers after a
I
wrestling
mean,
match.
what's he gonna do?
He'd order like 3 pitchers when
He's
he'd
already
go.
bigger
He'd
than
draft,
everyone
order
else.
3 pitchers, and they'd be his cups and, you know,
He didn't live very long.
Well, he had
44.
what they call it, giantism.
Yeah.
Which kills you quick.
Yeah.
The tallest guy ever was like 7'10"
8
or
foot
some
2
shit.
was the tallest guy ever.
8'2",
8
yeah,
foot
that's
2.
insane.
He was an English dude.
Yeah, yep.
He was huge.
They always show him with his glasses
He
and
was
his
huge.
suit.
Now, the tallest people are, I think it's the Watusis or the Maasai in Africa. The women average about 6'2", and the men average about 7 foot.
Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah.
So like, basketball
NBA,
players should be going over there.
NBA.
Fucking,
That's where that basketball player Manute.
So Fox, that's
okay.
funny
He's from
'cause,
that part of Africa.
there was just the NBA
He said it's all
just
the people in the
approved
world
something
live
that-
there.
They just approved something that was like $100 million for building sites in Africa. So they want to build a couple different academies, like how they got IGA and shit like that down in
Yeah,
Florida.
you might as well.
They want to build academies
Because they could build the whole. They could. What they could
kids
do.
can come get an education and learn basketball.
Well, what they
They spend
should
time every
do
day
is
doing
do it like. They should basically do it like baseball does with the minor leagues. You should, or like soccer does. where
Could you
each
imagine
city had to
American
build this
coaches though
fucking,
going to Africa? Like these kids would run wind sprints and
inner-city
wouldn't even be
type
getting
fucking-
tired.
you know, leagues. That way they got fucking competition, and on top of that, it's a little bit of cash.
Would you not have to condition the kid if he ran 15 miles to get to practice and he was going to run 15 miles when he was done to go home? Would you just be like, all right, we're just going to get straight to shots?
Yeah.
Today's games are proven
That's
they
why
shoot from three.
that's why in long distance, always some Ethiopians or some, you know,
Well, there was some famous
always they're long distance runners, man. They can run for days.
There's like these twins that are like American long distance Olympians or whatever that moved to Kenya and they moved to these people that live in the mountains that just run for
That's all
days.
they do is run. They
And
run all the time.
So they got invited to join this elite group of dudes who run because there's the Kenyan Olympic team and these other guys.
Yeah.
And they were always the weakest people in the group. It was like a 10-man group and like they had to go live with them in order to do this.
And a lot of those guys, when they first started running, they didn't have no shoes.
Yeah.
They were running barefoot. Like a motherfucker.
Because that's how you're supposed to do it.
Ooh, man.
That's the way it used to be.
But you know, I've been looking at a lot of these vlogs. I was looking at one from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh my God. It's unbelievable, man. And a lot of people didn't have shoes. I look at everything. When they show crowds, I'm looking at their feet. You know, I'm looking at
Shoes
how
are
they're
luxury.
dressed. But a lot of people that were living in the city that didn't have shoes.
Nigeria is an interesting place. Nigeria is actually supposed to be a place where you can kind of come from nothing and make money. You know, it's supposed to be. Their economy is pretty interesting. They got a pretty strong economy.
It's a rich country.
It's Ivory Coast.
But it's
So I worked with a Nigerian.
it's
at Costco.
overpopulated.
I worked with a guy who was married and had kids, and his wife and kids lived in Nigeria. He was working on a visa at Costco, but his side hustle, they had a store there that she like inherited from her dad or whatever, and her and the kids ran.
Yeah.
And it was basically like a retail, like a resale store, like whatever, you know,
Yeah.
used items and shit. But he would fill up every month for $2,000. He would send a train cart to her on
Full
a
of
boat,
shit.
and it was just full of everything he could get, everything he could muster.
Yeah.
Maybe not every month, but every 6 months or something. But one thing he would do is he'd always buy a used car, and four-wheel drive was best. So if you could get anything like four-wheel drive within the last 10 years,
And send it
he'd
over
put that in there,
and-
and then
yeah.
he'd load it up with all kinds of shit and put all kinds of shit on top of it.
Yeah.
And he'd send, Costco, the reason he worked at Costco wasn't for the benefits. He worked at Costco so that he could find clearance TVs and shit like that.
Yeah.
So if he finds a big-ass TV for $200, sends it home. So in Nigeria, gives his wife $500
Yeah, Lagos,
for it.
Nigeria, I think it's the town of Lagos, I think it's 11 million people.
11 million people. That's insane.
And it's constantly moving every hour of the day.
It's around so many.
It's never a lull in it.
It's
Is
around
it
so many less
cities
stable
that
areas,
always-
though.
Huh?
It's around a lot of less stable areas, though.
Yeah, well, most in Africa, that's how
There's a lot of unstable areas.
Yeah.
Nigeria's supposed to be a nice spot, though. So you might be all right.
Well, there's some beautiful housing, new housing in Nigeria. Nice places, man.
I'm sure.
You know.
I don't know if I'd be all right traveling in Nigeria. You think I'd be too white for that? They call me white. in
Dude, you
Sweden.
might just
There's
lose
all kind of white
you
people.
might just turn into a
Afri-
lobster and
Africa's full of white people.
die from
Yeah.
sin.
All of Africa.
I would probably
And
travel
Indians.
malaria.
A lot of Indians live in Africa.
My
too.
people are from the Arctic.
From
I'm
India?
Scandinavian.
Yeah.
I don't have any clothes that would be comfortable in Africa.
No, you'd be fucked.
I guess shorts
Stay there, I'd be
and
trying to-
t-shirts.
I'd be trying to
I
buy
just-
like white cloth that can loosely fit.
I don't know. I think it would be cool, but at the same time, I'm not. At this point in my life,
I'd
I
love
think
to go
rather
to Africa. I'd love to go
Caribbean.
anywhere.
No, I would,
South.
no. I wish I had the kind of money. What I would like to do is go to a couple of places in Africa, go to a couple of places in Italy, go to a couple of places in France, go to a couple of places in Germany. all around the world, man.
Yeah.
Like every 2 weeks.
It might be more dangerous
in a different city.
than anywhere else in Africa, but could you imagine going to like Alexandria, like Egypt? Well, I guess there's a million Alexandrias.
I mean, that's the
Could you
stuff I
imagine
would
going
do
to,
if I
Cairo?
was loaded. Like all of a sudden, I had a ton of money and I had nothing to do.
I'm not
I'd go to
interested
those
in
places.
seeing all those
Like
kind
the
of.
library
I'm
of
not
Alexandria
interested in
is
seeing
gone,
all
but
those.
isn't the lighthouse of Alexandria being
You
used to this
know,
day?
great eighth wonders of the world. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in the
That's what
general population and what kind of art and music is coming out of that place. That's what I'm interested in. Because you can see that shit anytime.
Well, I don't. It's also
people
tourist
say you got to
traps.
see London. London has like the Magna Carta. And
I don't want to stand in line.
I'm
to
not
see
doing
something.
that to see
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, no.
I won't do it here, so I'm not going to do it
Yeah,
there.
no, I'm not gonna do it here either.
well,
Anymore.
good thing COVID's out because they won't let you stand A lines. There aren't any lines.
Well, I mean, I'm about to stand in. I'm gonna kind of stand. I'm probably gonna have to. I don't have to stand in line because but I'm gonna stand in line for popcorn.
Are you going to movies?
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. That's not like a long line.
just to see. Well, yeah.
I think you can actually do that on your phone too. Last time I was
Yes,
at a movie,
and to
people
be
walked
honest,
up and like
I
grabbed
might-
shit off of a.
Go with the
Whole
kids
thing.
to, my nephews and nieces and shit to the zoo. So there's gonna be lines there.
Yeah.
So I can't really say I'm not gonna stand in line.
Yeah, but you know, it's not a way of life standing in a line.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the third world countries, when you want to do shit, you got to
The
stand
zoo,
in a
though,
long line.
The zoo has a lot of like natural kind of separation though, when you're kind of mingling from spot to spot.
Yeah,
You're standing in
it's
line to
huge.
go into exhibits though, for
And-
sure.
How many times in life do you have to really stand in a long line?
And with the kids, you got
Here, not too many times. Not too many times.
Longest lines.
They got rid of a lot
is-
of the Secretary of State though.
Is yeah, it used to be Secretary of State, but
Oh.
it was
Longest line is Popeye's drive-through,
yeah.
and you're not
The longest I was ever at a Secretary of State's office, I would say it would be about an
or
hour.
Chick-fil-A at the
I was never there
airport.
no longer than an
Chick-fil-A
hour.
at the airport.
Cedar Point.
It's probably worse than Cedar Point.
Cedar Point.
Yeah, Cedar Point always has lines.
Oh yeah, especially when you get on the popular roller coaster.
I would say TSA, but when you go first class, you get to skip that.
You stand in an hour in line.
Yeah, if you want to pay extra money, you can go to the front of the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I think is
for.
which I think
Yeah,
was
so
some bullshit. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way.
Did you expect it not to get that way?
Bro, I pulled up to the Delta valet guy and I showed him my plane ticket and it said Delta 1 because I was going in first class. And right away he grabbed all my luggage and told my mom she could leave and he took my luggage right at that spot. He's like,
Yeah.
"This is all you have?" Because I could have had twice as much.
Yeah.
Probably. And then he tells me what line to go to and I look over and there's like nobody in that line. I'm like, "Yeah, go that way?" He's like, "Yeah, go that way." He's like, "Just follow this shit. This is Delta 1. So I follow it and I go over and I'm like, "Everybody's in this line for TSA. There must be hundreds of people." And I'm like, "Here's my ticket," said dude. And he's like, "Hey, welcome, Mr. Pittman. The lounge is over this
Yes,
way." And I'm
this way.
like, "Isn't there a metal detector? Like, where's the AK go?" You know, like, what the fuck? I'm like, "But I'll go to the lounge." I got up in the lounge and I felt like the least important dude there. Like, I'm looking around and there's groups of 5 or 6 having like meetings and they all got laptops out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the whole fucking board is right there, man. CEO's on that laptop yelling at all these bitches, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here and get a free Danish and a free coffee and say like, there's seriously no one I have to pay. Like, they're just here to refill this shit as I take it. You know? Like,
I mean, that's how it works.
well, all right.
It's crazy how.
I'm gonna pay an extra $1,000 every time I fly, man. I'm fucking spoiled. That shit's great. Use it up though. Fucking go do it.
I know when I flew back from Alaska,
I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna get there 10 hours early for my flight and be like, "Cafe, here I come."
I flew back on a 747, that big sucker.
Yeah.
And it was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving in 1978, I want to say. And
Wasn't even born yet.
and that plane, I think, seats like 300 and some people.
There was more turbulence.
But it was only 4 people. It was more crew than people, you
It's
know.
Alaska.
Yeah.
So I
I
was
was to
thinking,
get the plane back.
this everybody first class. Oh,
I love it.
Oh, it
That's
was
awesome.
great, man. I was
That's
drinking
awesome.
champagne.
that
and
was
shit.
back then. Imagine what first class is like now.
Oh,
It's your whole set. Like you
it's a
get your,
sleeper.
yeah, you get
You
your
can go
own
to
little
sleep.
like spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you just made all the other fucking
You can go
stuff
sleep.
that they don't have to clean now, stuff that they don't have to worry about. Like, there's bathrooms that they're not even gonna fuck with. They're just gonna keep locked. Like, you just let them shut down 90% of the plane, so they love it.
What
When
was
they
like-
get to the next stop, it's gonna take them 10 minutes to refresh that bitch, and then they're at the hotel.
What was it like flying in planes when planes weren't planes? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, have you
in
ever
our
been in a
lifetime-
shitty plane?
Hold
Have you
on.
ever been in
What do you mean
little
Yeah,
the planes
no.
weren't playing?
in our lifetime, the accidents of planes falling out the sky is pretty much minuscule
Oh,
to
yeah.
nothing. Like it happens every 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back in the
Millions
70s
of
and
planes.
60s, when planes were first becoming commercialized,
Was it scarier? Was there
Yeah.
more people that were scared
I-
around you in the plane?
I do not like flying.
People
to this
over the
day. I
plane.
never,
Like it anyway.
I never liked flying.
There used to be more drinks though,
But
and the wine.
you're right. Back then, you know, again we get into AI. Back then, things weren't as
Things were
technical, so there were
simple.
mistakes made.
Yeah,
Well,
it
there
was
was-
all mechanical.
there was a specific thing that's
Not-
like
yeah.
one of the podcasts I was listening to, or one of the TV shows I watched. This guy figured out that because it was I don't know what plane it was, but this plane just fell out the sky, and they couldn't figure out why. And they
Yeah.
figured out that there was a wind they weren't reading that they didn't know existed, or some shit.
Shear.
Like
They learned how to type of
Wind
wind.
shear
yeah,
is what
they
it's
just
called.
fucked
Yeah.
everything up. So now the planes are actually designed to deal with that. So like.
That's why he put those ailerons.
got a flap, a
He put those
special flap.
ailerons on the wing to deal
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, so you're not going to fall out the sky no more. I mean,
No.
you still can because it's a fucking.
But it was the comic.
How did that pilot feel though? Because he had no explanation either, and there was nothing.
Oh, he
He's
was
pressing
dead.
everything. He's gassing
They
it
didn't
up.
fucking
Full
live. They didn't,
throttle.
the plane hit a mountain.
Yeah.
See, a lot
Straight down,
of
fucked.
a lot of planes back there, especially right after the war.
That was another thing too. Like they couldn't see. If you couldn't see, their navigation tools are not the greatest. Where now it's all.
With the way that I
GPS.
handle semi-stressful situations,
In fact, it's all
I can never
automated.
be
It's
a pilot.
AI.
I know.
You can't run to a mountain.
When's
The
the last
plane,
time
the
you were on a
plane will
plane?
automatically go up.
Pilots are badass motherfuckers.
When's the last time you were in a plane?
Helicopters don't do that.
Oh, a long time ago, man.
So you haven't been.
I've only
I've been in
flown.
one like every.
I've
summer.
only-
I know.
a couple.
I've only flown commercial one time, and I've flown maybe
We're actually talking
private
about this
about
summer.
8 or 9 times in like Cessnas and Piper Cubs.
private.
Yeah. People that own planes.
Bougie,
Nice.
baby.
Well,
Cessna.
my
Nice.
girlfriend up in Alaska, she had a plane.
Everyone in Alaska owns
She
a
had a
plane.
pilot's
You got
license,
to.
and she was like 19 years
It's the
old.
only way to
Dude,
get
how is
around.
it? I'm 34 years old when I find out that my grandfather owned a plane. Like my
That's awesome.
grandfather was rich enough to own a fucking plane, and I had no idea. I knew they had money, but not plane. Like
See, when you own
Jobs
horses,
and
made money.
when you own planes and horses, you got money.
Yeah.
planes is like, yeah, that's different.
You gotta
I
If he
don't
could,
like
he'd
that.
own people too, probably.
Because you have to have a place to store it.
Yep, that
Yeah.
costs.
You have to have a
Staff.
mechanic to
Yeah.
keep that plane running good. You understand what I'm saying?
Fuel.
And fuel is
20
expensive.
And
G's,
insurance?
20 G's to put that bitch in the air, probably.
Dude,
Yeah.
add in the insurance.
Yeah.
The insurance has got to be ridiculous. I can't imagine. It's
Yeah.
got to cost you at least.
Renting the garage for it, because you
Dude,
don't
you're
just
looking at-
bring
That's
that
what I mean, a
bitch up.
hangar. You have to have a
Yeah.
hangar, not a garage.
for
A
a
hangar.
small one.
Yeah.
If you store somewhere else, it's probably 10,000 a month.
Like City
Insurance.
Airport.
Oh
At
my
City
Well,
Airport.
maybe insurance is probably
You gotta have insurance for at least 10 hose, because if you got a plane,
$3
like,
grand a month.
if I got a shower that's a 6 hose affair, my
No, it's not that much.
plane better be a.
No, it depends on the size of the plane.
And how much you
Now, if
use.
you're talking about like a Piper Cub or a Cessna that only seats maybe 4 or 6 people, you're probably looking at about $1,000 a month insurance on that sucker.
So I've been on a little 4-seater, like 2-engine plane, and that shit sucked because turbulence was just like part of the entire experience. It was.
Well, most of
We're
our,
going through a lot of turbulence or a little bit of turbulence, because just flying, we're like doing a little bit of like we're riding. a
yeah,
horse.
well, most of mine have been a
And
small
sometimes
plane.
we're getting like
but small
around
planes,
on our horse.
small planes are the safest ones.
I mean,
The guy
they're all
was supposed to tell
safe
the
now.
pilot never stop talking.
But I'm just
but,
saying this, they've always been the safest ones. So it's thousands of small
Do
planes
you think it's the
that
plane?
fly every day.
Maybe that's one of the reasons we don't have them is because the plane lobbyists are basically keeping us from getting them.
Get what?
The plane, fucking high-speed rail. Imagine if you could get to Chicago. We could go study. We could just get on a rail and go to Chicago for an hour or two and do a show and then come back.
Elon's
I'll
got
try not to do Spirit.
Elon's got
anymore.
what? He could put some tunnels.
I ended up
yes,
on
he
a
is.
Spirit from like Boston.
Yeah.
to
Putting
Detroit,
tunnels
Spirit
in
to
the
Detroit.
fall line is probably not the best idea.
Probably not.
Yeah. You know.
But you got a whole,
He ain't doing
you got a whole, you have a whole state living on a fault line
Oh,
in
shit.
California. The whole damn
Sorry.
state.
He had 2 planes.
Who?
My grandpa had 2 planes. Jesus
Thanks,
Christ,
Uncle Dan.
man. We were bougie as fuck. I had no idea. My dad hid that shit from me good. When I
So
got
he
that
had
place,
2 pilots, huh?
that's why he
or
bought.
1 pilot.
Well, he just had 2 planes.
Yeah.
My
He
dad.
might have had a short hopper and...
If you
Oh,
own
it
planes
was like that.
your pilots,
And a Piper, he said.
your
Yeah,
pilots are
okay.
intimate
Yeah,
part
those
of
are
your
both-
life, you know.
top of the line planes.
Yeah, well, he bought us
Does he have a live-in pilot?
for Christmas. You remember? You ever seen that video with the kid who goes nuts for the NES Superstation Entertainment? That happened to me. That shit was like I got that, and then my dad tossed it
Did you get the Super
by
Scope?
spring
Why?
because he didn't want an electronic babysitter. But I come to realize he didn't want that fucking thing slapping him in the face every time he walked into the house because he couldn't fucking afford it because it was like a $300 thing. But my grandpa, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's easy if he's got 2
was
planes.
embarrassing.
Well, he didn't have planes at the time because I'd have known about the planes.
So Rich
He had
Boy
to have
Daddy
sold
didn't
them.
like his daddy.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
your grandpa thought he had a lot of money.
yeah, at one time or the other.
Regret your grandpa thought.
You have
he had
really
a
high
lot of
opinions
money.
of your
I don't
father,
get that
Steve.
one. What?
You have really high opinions of your father.
I have amazing opinions. He's just a dude that fucking, I don't know, is afraid to be alone. Got addicted to sex and is afraid to be alone.
Then my dad was a douche too.
Made a
but he
lot
was
of
addicted to
choices
sex.
off of, this is gonna make
Alcohol.
me happy. Having the best stuff is, like I don't know if I was in his position and not had gone through my mom's death and I lose the love of my life, I don't know how I would have reacted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most people would have just bounced, but he kind of stuck around, I guess. So I got to give him a little respect for it. I mean, he still had the same. He never was really there in the first place. Like dirt bikes, riding every weekend.
He was doing his
softball.
thing. He was doing his thing.
Yeah,
It's a pretty common story amongst men, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard
So
for
It really
it's
is.
hard for the
Really
male
changed.
line to be there for the cup. He just wants to eat them because they look like veal.
yeah,
See, my
you
dad-
say that, but there's so many dads out there that actually did it. It's inexcusable.
I used to
because-
envy kids who had cool dads growing up. Like I used to hang out with kids whose dads. were
There's
cool.
so many kids without dads nowadays. I'm talking about worldwide. It's
So you should adopt them, be cool
unbelievable. The poorer the country,
recycle.
the more kids.
Yeah.
You go to the Philippines,
The hotter the
there's
country,
kids everywhere.
closer to the equator, the more fucking they do.
There's kids everywhere.
Rudy, when it's beautiful out and young hot bitches are walking around in bikinis all day long, you are chasing them around trying to fuck them.
guess.
That's how the world works. So I had a buddy from Puerto Rico, and he was telling me how shitty it is in Detroit that like no one's trying to get down the same way he is. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, in Puerto Rico, you just walk around the beach smacking girls on the ass. Like, you wearing a thong for a reason? Like, should I pull it off here, or are we going back to your place? You know, like,
You try that shit here, you be in trouble like a motherfucker.
no, because they got winter coats on. You know,
Well, you don't see. You know
go
what?
smack him in the ass, you might hit him in the thigh or the lower back, or
The only places you're gonna see fine women walking around in Detroit is either at events or downtown.
hockey games.
You don't see fine
Hockey
women
games.
just roaming up and down the streets all the
7
time.
Mile and fucking.
They are at the games though.
Or
Seven
State
Mile-
Fair.
It's
Walking down
7
State
Mile.
Fair.
They're fine chicks. They're jumping in and out of their car. They're not walking up and down the street.
See, Lions games is more like piss drunk fat.
You
white
see none of
dudes.
the men walking up and down the street.
But hockey games and baseball games, hot bitches. all
Yeah,
over
my
the place.
which yes, you're right. He tried to live a level that he couldn't live. My grandpa, he obviously, because by the time
Too bougie.
by the time he passed away, he was living in a fucking trailer in
Okay.
Florida. He had a job as a greeter to help pay the bills
Yeah.
because insurance or health care,
Healthcare.
his shit luck with stocks.
So like I had to sell
and
Elford
living
and
above his
Timothy.
means.
along
He was
with
drinking
the Flames.
a 12-pack of Coke a day,
Damn. That'll kill you.
4 packs of cigarettes. He still got the 60-something. I don't remember how old he was.
Well, I guess he did pretty good then for all that evil consumption.
Yeah, I know he was good at riding bikes. He was good at everything he did because he was basically like I don't understand how the fuck he was able to. I had jobs and I worked my dick off and I couldn't afford to barely pay my fucking bills. My dad had
He
4
worked his dick off.
You got
I
it
did.
fixed,
No,
though.
I did. Don't
Yes, I
now.
did.
I did. I don't know. My dad had 4 fucking kids, got a house, had fucking the best dirt bike, had the best baseball bat, was playing softball, traveling up north to fucking ride dirt bikes and shit like that. Had fucking car. Like I couldn't afford a fucking
Bro,
car.
I'm not rich.
Yeah, he was having
I'm
the
not
time
rich
of his
enough to check
life.
off 80%
But he was
of
making
those
$3
boxes.
an hour.
So how was he doing? No, he wasn't.
He was a
traveled
bus.
with
He was
softball.
busting tires.
I traveled.
No, you couldn't do that on $3 an hour, man. He had something else happening. Something else was going on. You couldn't
He
do all
wasn't
that.
selling because he kicked my uncle. He kicked my uncle.
Well, I'm
out
not saying he was
buying
selling, but he
weed.
might have some investment that you didn't know about.
Yeah,
No,
hookers.
he's not smart enough to invest. If he had invested, we
Well, how
would
the hell
have
you do all that shit on $3 an hour?
because government help. He didn't have to buy food. We ate fucking government food. The rent was cheap. He bought a house. He got a mortgage. So at the time, I'm sure a mortgage was cheap as fuck for the house in Oak Park. You know what I'm saying? And then they sold the house, so they might have flipped a little money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't sell the house. No, he was renting. But I don't know how to, that's what I'm asking. How does that, gas is fucking 20 cents a dollar, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're talking
gas
the
is
70s, or we're talking the 80s.
Because the gas was what, maybe 90.
Well, there was a big spike when the
$1
Iran
a
contract
gallon.
It's
happened.
$1 a gallon in the 90s,
Yeah, $1 a gallon.
not the 80s. 80s
No.
it was cheaper,
Yeah, that's cheaper.
and rent was cheaper.
75 cents, 76 cents a gallon. When I first started driving, it was 19 cents a gallon. When I first started driving, we could take 50 cents and drive all motherfucking day.
My dad owned a gas station on Woodward and 6 Mile. It was a Shell station, Pittman Shell, and he inherited it. But they had a mixture of, they were widening Woodward, so he had to move his tanks in the ground, and he had to pay for a lot of construction stuff related to that. And they also had the Iran contract going on, so they spiked the price of oil, so gas went up in price.
Oh, yeah.
So less people bought gas. So less people buying gas, and less people coming to the gas station, less people getting their brakes done by the gas station guy, less people
all that
getting,
shit, yeah.
you know, milk
It's
at the gas
trickle
station.
down.
And again,
So he
from
sold
what I
that
understand,
shit
they
at
had
a
shit
loss.
credit. Like they made bad choices. Because my brother cost him a lot. I'm assuming because you know he's born with spina bifida, so we had to get a truck. So like again, there was factors that, but it still blows my mind. He had that even at 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? Before like, because I don't think I was born yet until he was, 20. I think he was 20 when I was born or something like that.
Okay,
Not 20. He was 55, so he was 24
all right.
by the time I was born. So like even that time, like he's making nothing, yet he's still fucking able to have a bike and these nice cars. It's like, how the fuck did they do that? Because like I just remember barely paying my rent and making at least $7.50 an hour
Because they didn't use
working
drugs.
fucking
No,
80 hours a week.
He had another hustle that he don't know about.
Well,
he had a hustle, man.
He's really good at
Let me tell you
fantasy
something, man. Most men
running numbers.
that are men got side hustles.
maybe he fixed.
You're
cars.
not a man if you
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
what I'm
something
saying.
on the
Okay,
side.
you're
That might
right.
have been a side
He
hustle.
might have fixed cars.
Yeah, he might have done that and made a little extra jack.
Yeah.
Because the stuff you said he was doing cost money to do.
These are
I know it
important
does.
life lessons.
That's my point.
Yeah.
If everything you have is above board, you're not actually a man.
It'd have taken me
It's less
fucking 2
manly.
years to save up, like the little bit of money. Like if I ate ramen, just to buy a fucking motorcycle that he had.
I would starve to death if I had to eat ramen.
Oh yeah.
I would just starve to fuck. I had never had it before until about a year
Well,
ago.
no. You gotta have good ramen, not the instant ramen. If you go
Yeah, you
to a
got fried egg
place,
in that bitch.
if you go to a place where they make it fresh,
Make
and
some
they make
bacon
real
first
ramen.
and candy it.
Well, you know what I'm getting ready to do?
What?
I'm getting ready to Google the nearest Cambodian restaurant. I'm gonna go over there and have me a couple Cambodian meals.
All right.
it.
Well, and then whatever one you like, you bring here and we'll try it.
Hey, that's a good idea.
So there's
There
a
you
spot that I hear is really good, a gumbo spot. I don't know if you're familiar with any kind of good gumbo, but it's right, it's like 9 Mile and Woodward. It's in Ferndale, and it's just south of the Elks Club, and I think it's called like Louisiana Gumbo or something like that.
Yeah, that's a franchise.
Oh, really?
65 cents for premium.
There's
when
2
you
or
work.
3 of them in Detroit.
Is there any good gumbo places?
The original, that's good gumbo.
Which one is it?
The original one is on Gratiot, right?
So people have said it's good.
Which one?
Louisiana
Louisiana
gumbo.
style.
Yeah, I got that from.
9 Mile Woodward.
I actually got it with Justin the other
Yeah,
day, and
bunch
he
of
was
sausage
he
and
was
rice.
all about it. He said it was good.
Yeah, it is.
But
They've been around
there's
a long
one by
time.
you that you got to try. The one on Schaefer or on 7 Mile, right?
I'd be
by
down to try
South
gumbo
of-
spot.
It's on my street.
Yeah, it's right down south of you.
Huh?
It's south of you.
What's it called?
I don't know. It's a
'Cause you
fucking.
can throw
Where all
all
those
kinds of
stores
shit in
are. The
gumbo.
It's,
restaurant.
it's one right there on the corner of my block.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's in Louisiana. That's the same one he's talking about.
Oh.
That's the franchise.
Oh, okay. No,
So it's
not
Cajun.
the franchise.
Cajun shit. Spicy.
See,
You're talking about a different one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying we want to try to. If we're gonna do it, we're supporting the local.
Is there a place we could do it where
Give
we
the
can?
locals the money as much as we can.
Is there a
Find some
homemade
barbecue places?
Gumbo place? Oh man, you can get ribs. There are homemade rib places. There are places where dudes set up and are cooking and just selling
Yeah,
ribs.
there's one over here on Woodward Heights. If you take it down past,
I think on John Arn, like 6 Mile, there's
it's
a
right
barber
there.
shop.
There's a before you get
That
to
cooks
Woodward,
ribs.
there's a parking lot and sits there. He's open on Thursday and Fridays.
So that'd be something.
That's what we
cool.
call street food.
So you
Yeah.
gotta get a runner to go get street
And I'm gonna
food.
tell you something.
If we hire a runner, to
I'm
go
gonna
back
tell you
street food,
something.
What?
That's a show.
Street food is a sign that we're becoming a third world country.
Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you, that's one of the first signs.
So you want to give money to the locals?
There
We can tell them what we're doing.
are street vendors all up and down 7
But that's what it should be.
all
You
up
tell
and
them
down
to
7
watch
No,
your
but that's
video and
the
it helps
point. That's
both
what
of
it
us.
used to be here. When you went to fucking restaurants, they were owned by specific people.
Well, yeah,
And
but-
everyone in the area lived in that area. So actually, it's better if we could figure out a way to get it to that point, because then you would actually have more influence instead of having
It's
an
healthier 'cause
Applebee's
people are vested,
and
they
then
care more.
the 15 other fucking subsidies of Applebee's.
The only problem I have with that
What?
is that there's no health department involved.
There is too. They all have to get fucking checked.
Yeah, but do they?
In the streetcars,
You don't know when you go to a
You
street.
don't know
listen
from
to me.
restaurants.
But not-
When you-
not
now I'm
when
talking
you're
about
outside
street
the street
vendors. I'm
doing
talking about
bones.
street guys
Doing 3,
with a
5
barbecue pit.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen
bones,
those.
$5.
They're all up and down.
There is one right there at fucking the church down here on State Fair, and
On the corner of State Fair and
it's not on the corner, but it's just off the corner. There's a Family Dollar right there. If you go down Conant and you take Conant instead of not Conant.
Not
You take DeQuinder down, and you turn on State Fair. Right on State Fair, there's a church.
Right,
a gas
and the guy-
station, a church, and the guy's in the parking lot.
Yep.
I've never eaten there,
And he's been
I've
there
always
for
wanted-
years.
I've always wanted to, but I'm so afraid. I'm like,
Afraid of what?
I don't know. It's just, it's
you're
who
not
I
packing
am.
heat.
It's one of those things I've always.
It's because
The fact that I talked to this thing, if you'd have told somebody that knew me 15 years
Just
ago,
buy a
that I
hat
do
like
that,
mine.
they'd have been like, no, he doesn't.
Well, you know,
buy a decap and you'll be all right. You'll fit right in.
that's right next to a church.
Which also,
That's
feels
a
like
little
I grew up at
safe
like
area.
I'll never
But
go.
I
I would consider that a safe area.
But I'm a heathen.
You look-
What if they
You
know?
know, the food is good.
You don't know how to spell
Yeah.
Cabernet, you'll fit right in.
I think once I have had it before, a couple of years ago. I
Yeah.
stopped there one time and had it. I'm not big on street food.
So when I'm in Detroit, I like
I'm
this
kind of
food.
scared of
I like
street
all
food a
the
little
you
bit.
buy, we fry places.
Dude, I think street foods. I think there should be like roads that become like they do
No.
in places that have big cities.
Yeah, now if they had an area.
Yeah, areas.
Well,
that
look,
are
Oh, we do have
And,
events.
and,
We have
and,
events
and it
where
could be
buses show up.
and it could be monitored for cleanliness and all that shit.
That's too expensive.
I would
They
go
do them
for
all at
that.
the
You're
same
putting
time.
too much thought into.
No, it's gotta be that way.
No.
There's good ones.
You know
There's
that
ones
they don't wear
suck.
gloves in Sweden, right?
It's gotta be that way, dude.
They just wash their hands.
They just wash their hands.
They're not dirty.
I've
people.
watched too
They're
many.
clean people.
I've watched too many things on YouTube about street food around the world, from India to Africa to the Philippines to Guatemala, and one thing you can rely on, there's gonna be some food poisoning going on.
You know those touch screens that they have in
Yeah.
the restaurants now? So, like, almost 99% of those motherfuckers test positive for having poop on them.
Yep.
They don't all have bad diseases, but most of the bad diseases come from poop.
Well, you know, it's
It's like a 0.5% have diseases, but
Well,
bad
poop is
diseases come
everywhere.
from poop.
Yeah.
Poop
Right,
is
but
everywhere.
it's people going to the bathroom at
You
fast
know,
food, they come
just like
back
dead
and
skin is
out of
everywhere.
a Coke and a
You're
double
breathing
cheeseburger.
in
Feces.
a billion
If you smell
species
someone
of shit
fart,
All kinds of
breathing
shit.
that
at every moment.
Yeah.
And some of that shit actually is good.
Well, what is dirt?
Well,
Dirt is all decaying.
yeah, because it
shit,
helps
all
to
dead
strengthen your
people.
immune system.
And it
shit.
feeds the fucking. It feeds some of the stuff that's actually good
Dead
for you in your
plants.
mouth. And
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah,
it's like
it has its yin and yang.
everything. The whole place. That's why
I'm a plumber,
telling
and
you-
plumbers have some of the best immune systems because we go and hug your shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a little bit
Yeah,
of
I
this
wouldn't
shit,
be a plumber for a while. And I'm glad somebody else could do that job because I couldn't do
You're
it.
welcome.
I don't want.
Oh, my
I feel like a hero. It's
God.
small victories. I go to the house and I fucking they show me a problem and their world's falling apart, and I'm like, well, let's fucking fix that shit for you.
But the shit I didn't like was
Give me a
when we had
couple
to dig,
$100.
when we had to dig up the line going out to.
Oh, yeah,
the main.
So I'm gonna start. I'm
Drains
gonna
are
work
the
on that
worst.
idea, that theory I have that we can't leave this planet. I don't think we can get past a certain point because of gravity and the way our microbes.
What?
It'd be like if you were to
What?
take example.
You don't think we've been to the moon?
If you
Think that's
build
fake?
if you build something here, it doesn't work the same with the oils and lubricants and everything that works with it.
Of course.
It doesn't work the same
You're
as it
absolutely
does in
right.
space.
You're absolutely right.
So you're
Fine,
telling me
tell us your
this
opinion, but I believe we've been to the
finely
moon.
tuned, million-year-old machine that's been on this planet for this long can just leave it and work without any complications? You're out your fucking mind.
There's all kinds
Especially
of
when you
complications.
consider.
Astronauts are working at complications the entire time.
No, I know, but that's not my
That's
point.
what they do.
That's all they.
They're
They're not
badass
that far out.
motherfuckers.
That's what you're not understanding.
They're
not going
There's
very far.
complications, and they're only here.
Yeah.
But if you actually go to the roof and you go past that,
Well, let's
point,
see. Let's
it'll
send
get worse.
motherfuckers to Mars. Let's
Dude,
send monkeys
We're
to
going
Mars.
to, and I'm
Listen,
telling you,
Send
halfway-
German Shepherds. They're smart as fuck.
Listen.
See if they can run around Mars.
Listen, we might not be able to get to Mars.
I'm telling you, I think the people will die.
Humans might not be
Can we
able
get a
to.
solar-powered German Shepherd?
I mean, humans.
have to
I don't mean
advertise.
machines.
Yes.
I mean, humans might not be able to do it because the radiation might be really, really too
Well,
much.
it's
you
the
gotta
radiation.
try though. Why not try? We do live in a
Come on.
finite
We're
world.
not saying we're not going to
If
try, but I'm just saying I have this book idea. All right. What happens is the first trip to Mars, everyone keeps dying on the way, halfway out, and what they can't figure out is. What they figure out is that the bacteria in the gut that keeps you powered and does the things you need to do
Right.
starts mutating at a different level because of the fact that there's different gravity. And we can't duplicate our gravity. So as it mutates, some get bigger, some get smaller, some get bigger, and it starts eating the humans
All right,
eating
so how
more
about
than it's
this?
supposed to because you can't...
Think
From the
Halo.
inside out, huh?
Yeah.
Think Halo. One of the ideas behind gravity is if you're always spinning, you can make
I
gravity.
get that. I'm not saying
So
that
if we
can't
make a
figure
big
it out.
halo goes around Earth, with it being so many miles above Earth, it would actually be, it can be a thin fucking halo that doesn't interrupt our interaction with the moon and the sun. But this thing in our orbit could fit enough people that we have a lot less people living on Earth using
there's
Earth
plenty of
resources.
space if we
and we
actually
could
did it
totally manipulate the resource use completely.
There's plenty of space
That's
on
the thing.
Earth.
There's plenty of space on the
There's-
planet if we actually use
But
it
in our
properly.
orbit, though, there's tenfold the space. Like, how
I get
much
that.
more is there?
But that
It's way more.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing now. They're
Right.
building houses in space.
Where all the rich
They're
people
getting
are
ready for the
gonna
whole
live.
t-
All the
exactly.
shitty people are going to live down here and work
They're
in
gonna live
factories
in
with the smog.
They're gonna be in subspace.
We're going to be like
They're
Justin
not-
Timberlake. We're
they're
going to be
in
paying for
subspace.
minutes of
Hanging
life,
there in subspace.
all I'm saying is
fucking each other.
the book is
They're going
about
to be doing a lot. Those humans are going to be the humans doing the most fucking.
probably not.
Once rich people
They're
are
gonna
just
be
living in
working too much.
subspace.
And they don't want to have babies all the
They're not
goddamn
fucking
time.
each other. They're going to be fucking us pores, but they're going to be picking
Oh,
select
anyways,
pores.
that's called Elysium. There was a movie made about it.
Yeah, I know.
But
They're
that's
going to
not-
use their telescopes. They're going to be like, that blonde bitch there. And they'll be like, boss, she's 15. He's like, all right, tag it for later.
But that's not the point. The point is the book is supposed to be.
So how
We
many
realize that we
graphics can we
can't,
make
so we
this
have
year?
to figure out another way, like you said. We either have to download the body into a body
into
that
another
can,
something else.
or we have to make robots that are our avatars to travel the universe. Who the fuck knows? But with that theory,
AI is the answer. Let AI
that's
take
why
over.
there's no one ever showing up here except for fucking orbs.
AI has the
and
ability to
drones.
make technology smaller than we could possibly
In
make
my
it.
head,
Let
you know
AI
what I'm
just
saying?
go
Like
crazy.
that's my point is other species
The book.
have figured it out
Uh-huh.
that you can't leave. So it's become, this thing where your fish tank is your fish tank. If you try to take your fish and put it in a different fish tank, it won't work. It's gonna die. It may live for a little while, but it won't reproduce. It won't do the things it's supposed to
Cool.
do. It'll just die.
Because if you think about it, what's the longest duration that a human has been in space?
Not like
About a year?
A year, I think.
About a year,
Yeah.
400 days, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was over.
A voyage
Hey, Siri, what's
to
wrong with
Mars
fucking
is going to take, I
space?
think, 9 months
Yes.
in space.
Yes.
And when you get to Mars, supposedly there's no atmosphere, or very little atmosphere.
Well, there's way.
You know?
All right.
That's sweet, though, that he's jacked, but he's like, all we do is fucking pizza.
Really?
Damn. When we go live on YouTube, we